from the Classy Climb blog. Starting a little late, but we're here, and this is Tech Week. So all week long, we're bringing the hitters in tech, letting them tell you what's the good, the bad, the ugly. What is Rona? For some people in tech, ain't no Rona. So I want everybody to drop your city and state in the comments. I had a lot of consulting calls today from people who watched the tech show yesterday, and we're ready to get moving in tech. So look. Drop your city and state in the comments, and please, guest, introduce yourself. I'm going to start with Mr. Chris.
My name is Chris Johnson. I'm highly experienced in information technology, particularly network engineering. I started Jumpstart IT Academy to launch students into the information technology field. I've been launching people into IT for over 20 years. I'm enthusiastic about IT. I'm passionate about it, and I share that enthusiasm through a platform that can enable and empower others. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I like it. Kimmoy, introduce yourself.
Man, how can I introduce myself after all that credibility?
You're just like, listen, I've stacked rack and rack.
Hi, everyone. This is Kimmoy, and I am an experienced technical writer. So I write instructions for a living. I also teach others how to do that. In my course, get paid to write instructions. So I work remotely, and I am currently in Mexico. So I'm excited to share more about what's happening in tech with you guys. Yeah.
So Kimmoy is in Mexico. Chris is an international spy somewhere in California or Korea or Japan. Who knows where he is right now? Thank you for sharing your time here today. And I just wanted to be a bright spot for solutions, right? We all can talk about how bad things are, how crazy things are, but I feel like there's so many people in tech who are like living their best La Vida Loca life right now, you guys included. So can you share with me, Chris, some of the things you're seeing right now as the climate has changed a little bit with tech?
What I'm seeing right now is there is a move towards getting engineers to work from home. And that has already been in place, and engineers have been clamoring over it. And now, see, we've already transitioned to working from home, so we're comfortable with it. I myself, I've done hundreds of maintenance windows at home, and I can do anything. Like you wrote the book, Smartphone Millionaire, which I bought that book. That's a good book. So that particular book, it's the same thing with technology. You can do anything with a laptop. So it doesn't matter where we're at. I can troubleshoot anywhere. I could engage with clients. When you're looking at what's going on in the climate as far as coronavirus or the pandemic, it's global. But guess what? It's decoupled from this pandemic because everyone has to what? So, in California, we have stay-at-home orders. So doing a maintenance window at home is not a big deal for me. Dealing with clients at home is not a big deal for me because all I need is email, a word processor to write out my configurations, and essentially, I'd use my laptop, I do my configuration. So I think this situation right here, what it does reveal, it reveals that technology has resiliency. And in business, we call that inelastic, meaning that when the shift took place in the economy, information technology is able to withstand. And if you notice, like even with Jeff Bezos and Amazon, they were able to earn, I think, $25 or $24 billion in 1 month. So that gets trickled down. I'm not saying that the engineer is going to receive any millions from that, but you receive enough and you have job stability. So that's really important. So when I look at the field of technology, when I see the changes that are taking place in the economy, if you have the skills pay the bills, and I say the college education can give you a vacation. But at this point, we're just looking to pay bills. So I think information technology is what's going to set you up with a strong foundation to be able to withstand both good times in the economy or bad times in the economy. So that's my take on
it. Go ahead, Kimmoy.
So what I'm seeing is, so before when I worked at Google, there was a lot of push to get people on campus, and they would do everything to make campus living awesome. There were concerts, you could get your laundry done, you could bring your pets, you could work anywhere on campus, you weren't stuck to a desk. So Google, Facebook, Twitter, all of those big name companies kind of created this environment for people to be on campus. Now you're seeing huge press announcements that they're going to be remote forever. Well, not Google. I'm not sure if they're going to go that route yet, but Twitter recently made the announcement that they're going to work remotely forever. So there is a huge shift for even the bigger tech companies to be comfortable with their staff working remotely. And they already had the infrastructure to do so, but because of the Rona, things have changed. What I'm also seeing, though, particularly in DC, this might be specific to the DC area, is that a lot of companies are still hopeful. So they're being very specific with the job description and saying that you can work remotely through COVID-19, but they're putting in the location of the office. So I think I don't know if that's a tactic to try to weed out too many candidates who are looking for a remote only, or if they're expecting that you will be working remotely until it is safe to work back in an office. So I'm not really sure what that is about, but I've definitely seen that change in the job descriptions that I've researched.
I can tell you right now, when we did our Indeed.com ad, I'm like, you will be at this office for the next 20 days. Then if we were to decide you want to do a few days at home, you can. I wanted to weed out everybody who's like, oh, I'm gonna just do this easy job from no.
Right. And I think, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think a lot of people are going to be flocking to these companies because they want remote jobs. But companies want people that can actually do the job and know how to work from home effectively. So I think before, like, nobody cared if you wanted to work remotely before, like nobody cares, right? It's what can you do for the company? But I think now more than ever, you're going to have to prove that you can work remotely effectively. Like you actually have software to help you, you have experience doing that, you maintain good communication and hours. So I think there's going to be a little bit of paranoia from, small and large corporations.
Oh, let me go ahead and tell you, I'm putting screenshot monitor on their computer. So I'm like, listen, do not look up anything inappropriate. It takes a screenshot every 45 seconds or 2 minutes. Don't do it to yourself.
Oh my God.
If my VAs in the Philippines can have screenshot monitor and I'm giving each person on staff here a laptop, why can't they have one? Right?
Right. Yeah.
Listen,
especially if you're providing it.
Do off hours on your phone. Do off hours on your own laptop. Because I've already had $1,000 laptop here magically just die, and I'm like, I wonder how it died. If it was only doing Word docs and the simple data board, what are you doing? Making mixtapes? What are you doing? Crap, are you doing? So I think you're gonna have companies that start saying, sure, you can work from home, but there has to be a way to track what you're doing. There'll be a lot of that. So what I'm seeing is a lot of people in the economy who are like, oh, like I hate, that they keep making the difference between essential workers and non-essential. And I'm like, but you see who's home chilling with their kids and their family. You see who's like, I'm at a computer, I'm fine. Even Ty Davis says, surrounded by 4 laptops right now, working from home, watching you guys doing digital forensics. I mean, you see that there's a difference in community, if that makes sense. How can someone break into tech, right? Because they're like, hey, I'm over here waiting on unemployment and my neighbor is like typing away, living his best life ever in the backyard. What can I do differently to break into tech right now?
You
want me to take that, Kimmoy?
Oh, sorry. Go, Chris. You go.
Okay. First. So to break into tech, essentially what you need to do is you need to have skills. Okay. Now, not only do you need to have skills, you need to have a foundation to understand how the industry works. Most people are such a rush to get skills that they neglect the fact that you should understand. It's just like understanding a house. If technology was a house, some people just rush to be in one room. And I'd say take a tour of the house and figure out which room that fits your gift. And once you know your gift, you can thrive in any economy. I focus more on gifts. And when I say gifts, I mean natural abilities. If you have the ability to communicate, if you have the ability to think strategically, then you can pretty much decide whether you're going to be technical or non-technical. Once you've established a foundation for how the industry works, what kind of professional you are based on your inclinations, then you can add the next layer of specialization. Now, your gifts should thrive, should help you thrive, not only just survive, but thrive. Because when you add specialization to what you're naturally good at, you're going to excel. I don't care what the economy is. You're going to make yourself so useful. It doesn't matter where the economy is going up or going down. I made more money during when the .com bust. I made more money during the .com bust than I did during the good time of the .com era. Why? Because I had skills, because I knew how the industry worked. I knew how to network. I knew who to talk to. I knew where to go. So I say, foundationally, understand what you naturally bring. Once you understand what you naturally bring, understand how the industry works. And if you understand how the industry works, then you specialize. Most people rush to specialization. And what you got to understand is you're competing with a whole bunch of people that have A+ certifications or are good at cybersecurity. But what are you bringing? What's your differentiation? Just like businesses have to have a differentiation. What's your differentiation? I say your differentiation should be what your natural gift is. And then you're just going to be you're going to be on fire because you're going to be passionate about it. You're going to easily be able to build up your skill set. And then once you can convince somebody through your passion and through your vision as far as what you want for your career, somebody's going to bring you on board and trust you. I was hired from Boeing right off the phone. You know, I was a tech lead. That was a network lead position. I was hired right off the phone because network engineering is just, it folds right into my gift of leadership, my gift of communication, all these different gifts that I have. And I just add specialization of network engineering. I communicate that to the customer, and the customer can sense that I'm passionate about it, something that you can't buy, something that you can't fake. And that's how you're able to basically distinguish yourself in a market where there's coronavirus and you can't really work in a particular office space. You can't work in that environment. So it's going to have to be something different. And I said that difference is you knowing what your gifts are and you being able to communicate that passion and then adding that specialization, because everybody is specialized. So, I mean, that's common. So what is going to make you different? I say what's going to make you different is your gift. And if you know your gift, you take that gift, understand how the industry works. Like I said, go into the room that you're comfortable in, that you know you can succeed in. And guess what? You'll be able to get opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. 100%.
Yeah.
Kimmoy, give us some feedback. Tell us something.
So to break into tech, I would say it's a three-step process. Number one is a skill in and of itself is to research. I don't think people have learned how to adequately research. So I want you to learn how to use Google, start paying attention to headlines, what companies are you noticing that are thriving right now, and go to their careers page, start seeing what job openings they have, go to LinkedIn and see what positions recruiters are actually actively searching for, because they're on there and they're posting jobs regularly. And you could simply do a search for a recruiter in your city and a list of recruiters will show up. So when you go to their profile, see what it is that they're actually actively searching for. So instead of like trying to
wait. Slow that down.
Oh.
Slow down. Somebody's going to hear that and be like, say what? You said go, say that part again, list of recruiters.
Go to LinkedIn, search for the word recruiter in your city, because you could choose the location, right? And then there's a little tab at the top that says people. So it will show the people that has recruiter in their title in your city or wherever you want to work. And once you see their profiles, typically they're posting that they're hiring for specific positions. Or you could just simply send them a message and say, hey, what are you sourcing for right now? Right? You could do some preliminary research, because sometimes they have, like, they might say, I'm a tech recruiter, or I'm a HR recruiter, or executive recruiter, or developer recruiter, whatever. But you could take a look at their profile and see where they work and what clients they work with and the type of people that they're hiring. So start doing research, and that way you can get an idea of what's popping in the industry. The second step is to map your current skills, regardless of what industry you're in right now. So let's say you're an accountant. Every company has an accounting department. A tech company, a medical company, whatever industry you name, just take a look at your current skills and see what it looks like in another company. Because I could tell you right now, a customer service rep working for a small business does not make the same amount of money as a customer support agent for a tech company. It's a huge salary gap, but it's the same skill set, right? So take your current skills and see what other corporations or industries you can fulfill for that company or industry. And then the last thing is to tell a story specifically on LinkedIn, because I feel like people are a little bit shy about their skills, what they're learning, the work that they do, how they help support companies. Talk about that stuff. You talk about it all the time with your friends, your family, what's going on at work. You need to share that on LinkedIn so that people can see, oh, okay, I didn't know that Erica knew how to do Salesforce. That's really cool. I gotta, make a mental note of that. Or, I didn't know Chris was a, IT expert. Okay, next time I'm looking for someone, I'm gonna reach out to him. So just start posting your story, your experience, what you're doing at work, if you're taking classes, if you're getting your certification, if you got a promotion, whatever the case may be, post that stuff on LinkedIn. They have a status update feature just like Facebook. They have an articles feature just like a blog. You can share videos, you can go live, you can do all that stuff on LinkedIn and increase your visibility. So when you do those three things, you have a better strategy to breaking into the industry that you want to break into. So that's my 3 steps.
Y'all better be taking notes, because I was over here writing. Now listen, between the both of y'all know there is, I have a thing where I say, you believe it when you see it, right? Like, because we don't know anybody in tech, or our friends don't talk about their jobs or their incomes, like we don't see it. So is there any truth to this whole like, oh, there's no brown people in tech, I never see any minorities in tech? Which again, when people say 2%, I'm like, what you talking about? Millions of jobs. So it's still 2%, it's still 3%. I mean, it's still like there's thousands of people who are working in tech.
You want to take that, or?
So in terms of the diversity in technology, well, I know I've had several pretty interesting experiences. I had so I had a mail delivery guy, right? I was a senior server engineer, server administrator, and I had the mail guy. He came in and he looked at me and just turned to the left, went down the hallways, looking all over the place, right? Because he's looking for the senior server engineer. And I knew what the business was. So this guy is like, obviously, you're not him. And I just let him walk around the office until he got exhausted and figured out nobody was there. And I'm the one that was waiting for the device that he had on his hand. So in that situation, yeah, there's ideas that people have that people, of diverse backgrounds or ethnic groups or whatever are not involved with tech. And in some cases that is the case in environments that I've been in, but I've seen a lot of different people. I work with a woman who happened to be African American, and she was also a network engineer. So I see diversity, but I think what the situation is people don't understand that the entry barrier to enter technology is so low that they just don't know how to get there. And like you were saying, they don't know anybody in tech. And so that was one of the main reasons I started Jumpstart IT Academy. And I also offer coaching and mentoring, is because people don't talk about it. And when you have people in technology, and I'm sure we can be bullheaded, right, and egotistical. So they won't share information. Nobody will share information. What made me different is that I shared information. I mean, if you're going to be a better engineer than me and you're going to get the best projects, go for it, because I never fell in love with a position. I always fell in love with the technology. So I figured as long as I have a passion, I stay skilled up, then I do good. So I have seen a lot of different diversity in terms of seeing so-called Black people. Sometimes it's pretty slim.
Wait, what?
Sometimes it's pretty slim, but I'll see Africans. I'll see Africans that are working in those jobs because they see the opportunity. So they literally come over here, just like a lot of Middle Eastern people come over here and take advantage of the opportunities that these big companies are offering. And I see all this labor that's here, but they're not skilled up. And this was one of the complaints that Steve Jobs had. His complaint to Obama was that he's having difficulty with scaling out his projects because he didn't have enough resources. So I don't think it has anything to do with diversity. It has more to do with people not engaging in this opportunity. And this is only going to last for a little bit. There might be some shift and change with automation, and then the opportunity is going to be gone. So get a hold of technology while you can. Everybody's just relaxing and saying, hey, the bus comes every 5 minutes. Well, guess what? One day the bus is not going to come.
Yeah. My take on that is, if you're looking for diversity at your job, stop looking. Like, just stop. Just take that off of your requirements list. I have seen companies create a diversity and inclusion position and a whole committee and all these different employee resources group. They call them ERGs and ERPs and all this stuff. And it's just talk, it's just fluff. It's been happening for years. So if you are looking to, have a team full of people that look like you, I'm sorry to say, if that's your definition of diversity, no, you're probably gonna be the only one, and get used to it.
Facts.
When I go places and I go, what type of diversity? That's why I keep trying to tell people. I'm like, I go to a business,
right,
and I'll just tell you today, the two people that bend over backwards to help me today were two white men. One was an immigrant, Ukrainian, which I'm always like, oh, Ukrainians. And then, like, after my experience, but bent over backwards to help me today in trucking, in the financial industry. And it's not about, it's like mindset. They were like, man, you're a business owner. I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure you get your foot through the door. And I think what people will miss is, I've even heard people say, well, I don't know if I want to move to Austin for this job offer for 150K because it's not going to be super diverse. I want to live in Houston. Honey, you can go get diversity on the weekend. Your job is
exactly. And that's
your job.
Exactly.
That's super important. And I think I have a different stance on what a job is, because I don't think you should go into a job thinking about what you're going to get from it. Mm-hmm. Right? It's typically what you can contribute. Yes, you want to get your skills, but it's a different approach when you're going in like, I want to learn this, I want to learn that. Like, can you help the company with certain things? And as you go, you will pick up skills and you will learn skills. But to go in looking for diversity and looking for training and looking for people to teach you things and tell you what to do, that's a lot, especially on smaller companies. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot to invest in an employee. It's a lot. So I just want to say, if you approach things a little bit differently in terms of what you can bring, you bring the diversity, right? You bring it if you want to, because I can tell you right now, it's exhausting trying to explain the importance of diversity to other people. I've been there and I won't do that again. But,
I'm here to work. I'm not here to explain chicken noodle soup songs and other
right.
One time out of college where the lady wanted me to explain her this rap song. I was like, I want to say, Karen, please go somewhere. Right.
Okay, hold on. I have a little beef because my sister's name is Karen. Okay, so we need to
read the question on the screen. Hold on, I gotta go answer the door. Read the question on the screen.
It's a work from home environment. So I'll give my input if you want to give my. So you say abuse of employees and working from home, will it increase abuse of employees? My mindset towards technology, and I'll give you an understanding of my background. My background is this. I focused on my skills. I didn't care what company I work for, because they don't care what body sits in that seat, and that goes into the diversity question. Look, if I got servers that are going down, I don't care if you're green and you have alien friends, just land your spaceship right there in the parking lot, come on inside and fix my problem. Nobody really cares about that. So I focus on skill set. I build up my skills. So I'm independent of any company. I left companies that people go to Harvard to go to. I leave them. The reason I leave them is because I found a better opportunity. Because we're so valued. Once you're skilled up in IT, you're so valuable. You don't care. You'll leave a Google and go somewhere else. Be like, whatever, dude. It don't matter to me. Right? Doesn't matter to me because I'm in control. You're in the driver's seat. If somebody's talking about abusing an employee, especially a high valued employee, Come on, that's just you wanting to shoot yourself in the foot. Shoot yourself in the foot, buy yourself some new shoes, do what you got to do. But I'm going down the street and I'm going to go work for another company that's going to pay me over 6 figures. So in terms of concerning myself with working from home and abuse, I am so focused on my skills that if you want to trip over yourself, I'll watch and leave. So that's the mentality of somebody in IT. We are leaders. We lead because in IT, you need to understand the culture. We can study on our own. I can change myself I can turn myself into a cybersecurity engineer and be consulting multi-million-dollar companies within the next year. I could do that. And then I can say, hey, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to become a technical writer. And then I do that. And I want to be a project manager. I want to be a product engineer. There's so much opportunity, and you can just shape yourself into whatever you want to shape yourself into with IT, that in terms of abusing employees, that's a totally different mindset. I don't even understand the mindset. Okay. That's usually a mindset of somebody that works for the government and they just plan on staying with the government, and the government is just doing whatever they want to do to them. And nope, not highly skilled professionals. We don't deal with that. We are like, you got to take care of us or else we leave. That's why people take care of us.
I do think that companies will start to implement a lot more stringent policies about working from home. So they might start restricting certain websites. They might, start trying to dictate certain hours or certain level of communication. So I'm not sure if abuse is the right word, but maybe doing a little bit more to make sure that you're productive. So I think that you might see more training on, how to communicate, how to have more effective Zoom meetings, how to provide a status update to your team or to your manager or whatever the case may be. So it just might be a little bit more strict than it was before. But I don't know about abuse, though. Nobody should put up with abuse.
Yeah, that's what I say. If you got the skills, if I see somebody yelling at somebody and I can't take
even if you don't have the skills, right? Even if you don't have the skills, you should never put up with abuse.
Yep, that's just your personal standards. So, like if I see somebody going off the charts, I have my own standards. I had a guy literally it was 6 o'clock on the dot. I was in his office. He was yelling at me. Okay. That's when I first got started. I got out of the military. This guy, 6 o'clock, he yelled at me. And I said, hey, I started to understand how this industry worked. And I realized, hey, I could get paid $20,000 more and I wouldn't have to deal with this guy. So that's why I encourage people to learn how the industry works, because I wouldn't say abuse, but when you start off in something, you don't understand your value, and who you are, people are going to take advantage of that. I would say take advantage. That's something that could happen because of ignorance.
I mean, I have a friend, Jesse. I mean, you guys will never meet him here on the channel. He would yell or call people stupid. And so he's like, they never promote me to office man. They never promote me to management. I don't understand why. And you're always like, you tell us all the time you're calling people stupid. So like he went and worked at another company, and then they offered him his job back, but at a higher level finally. And he's like, he came back and they were like, you're so more well-behaved. So I always tell people, when you get into certain degrees of expertise, people will tolerate you, but only so much. Like you're not gonna move up the corporate ladder. You're not gonna be buddy with everybody in corporate America, but you do have to have a level of how you treat people and respect people. Yeah, that does happen. So sorry, Curtis Davis, you missed the team meetings. Do you, or is that sarcasm? Thank you guys for talking about my hair. I did. Very nice, thank you. What's this part? What's that say? We have
Microsoft.
Is that Microsoft?
I think so. Yeah, Microsoft Teams.
Okay, so here's my thing on that. Like Zoom calls, I don't want to look at you in my house. Sorry, I feel bad for y'all that y'all even have to do that, because you don't even want to invite your friends over your house. Now you got to be on a Zoom call with people? That's too much. Thank you.
The Zoom calls are too much. Because I'm like, even when we were in offices, we didn't meet this much. Like, this is unnecessary. Send an email.
Exactly. That's the way I feel. I got work to do.
Right.
I mean, we hated going to meetings.
Oh, what's your thought on VPN networks? Are those working? Are those worth it? Is that like a security risk? What are y'all thoughts on VPN?
Yeah, #1 tool in remote network. But it's just a secure channel so that you could transfer data. So that's something that's needed, especially if a company is going to have a private VPN to connect over the internet. So you're going to have that, you know, there has to be some sort of software encapsulation that covers the communication so that somebody just can't drop in and you know, steal some of your data if you're communicating something that's confidential over the internet. So the reason VPNs are used is because what you're doing is you're what we call traveling or traversing a public network. And so you have to create a artificial or a software virtual channel within a public pipe, essentially. And that's pretty much what it works. So it's just basically a secure channel to communicate information as if you're connecting over a physical connection. That's all it is.
Yeah, I use Namecheap. I can't say that I would recommend it, but it works because I can't let everybody know that I'm in Mexico. So when I go to a website, it needs to say that I'm in the US. So that's what I use, but I can't really tell if it's like the best quality or not, but it works. I can't hear you, Erica.
You're on mute, Erica.
Oh.
My bad. They were saying, somebody said there's last week there was a whole lot of brothers. Somebody else said, thank you guys for the info you're putting out. He said there's so many roles for Black people in tech.
Exactly.
You don't have to fit the stereotype. 2020. As long as the company has a need to hire a local candidate with skills. Nope. Kimmoy,
Huh?
Kimmoy, put your headset back on.
Can you hear me? I had to charge my phone. As long, oh, you're getting feedback. Oh, dang.
Put your
Is
headset
that any
on.
better?
Put your headset on. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. You gotta get like you walk on your headset.
All right.
That's better because I know you're in Mexico, but come on, we can't be telling everybody our business out here. What's going on?
No, I'm trying to charge my phone. Okay. So the question is.
Hold on. It's this says, read that if you can.
Does anyone know if there's one resource that explains the different possibilities in tech? It's hard to match current skills to tech. You got to do research. Oh. I'm sure there's, I don't know, what is there like one site?
Well,
I don't know.
Kimmoy, that's essentially what my course does. So I would recommend you check out my course because when I say giving you a tour of IT, that's what I'm talking about. I'm showing you salary ranges. I'm showing you non-technical, technical, all these different types of career fields that you would be able to take whatever your gift is. And like Kimmoy was saying, whatever your background is. Like, for example, if somebody was good with numbers and they went into accounting, then I would recommend them checking out SAS. If you're good at statistics, check out like SAS and do some type of data management. So essentially what I do is I talk about the top certifications that are out there, the top degrees that are out there. So in terms of your particular question, Cutie Pie, what the Jumpstart IT Academy does is the foundational course. What it does is teaches that right there, because that information isn't readily available because, like Kimmoy was saying, that takes research. So guess what? I did the research for you. So essentially, since I did the research, you can tap into that research so you wouldn't have to go search all over the place, because it would take you about a year or two to go find it. And then probably another year for somebody to translate it to you or give you an understanding of what it all means. So what I do is I put it all in one central location. You have a tour of the IT industry. You can look at your background and figure out where you fit in, so you can get in where you fit in and figure out what you want to do. And then from that standpoint, if you go through the course, if you're still unsure, then I have coaching and mentoring where people can come to me, because like we were saying earlier, a lot of people in IT don't communicate. The reason they don't communicate is because knowledge is power and knowledge is money in IT. That's just the straight facts. Okay, so it's highly competitive. So that's why you have platforms like my platform, like Kimmoy's platform, because people want to know these skills from people who have already succeeded in the field, so that they can know when they get their skills that they actually can, utilize these skills and apply these skills at a high level to be able to get the results that people like myself or Kimmoy, we have already gotten the results. So we can hand the baton to you, so you can just run your lap, and you'll be able to run your lap faster, which is why I call the course Fast Track to IT. Because we're essentially just handing you a baton, because you don't got to go through the jungle like we did. We already paved the way.
All right.
You guys, that's the reason I bring them on. That's why I'm doing all tech week. And hopefully maybe I can get them again to come on the panel all together because, they bounce off each other. It's really important to kind of, once you get in tech, you're in there. Like everybody I meet, if they do lateral moves, like there is someone right now, I'm not going to give his information because he didn't say I could do that. He's going from the Air Force, just like Janae yesterday, to $100 job in Texas. And he asked me about this location. I'm like, honey, that's in Dallas. You're nowhere near Austin, right? And then I have other people calling and asking me. All right, hold on a second. Boy, these people are worrisome today. Okay, come on now. You don't know I'm doing a show. I have other people calling me and asking me about jobs in certain cities. Well, is this city diverse? Is this city? I'm like, look, you're moving here getting paid $100 an hour. You tell me where you want to live for $100 an hour. If this job eventually converts remote, you can do what you want, okay? But I really think what people don't understand is once you're in that door, it's a lateral move. There's a lot of skills that you could pick up on the job, experience you could pick up on the job, people who can refer you.
Yep.
Because I think some people think tech and IT is all these 1,000 people in an office jobs. No, in Austin, there's about plenty of places, less than 100 people, less than 50 people, less than 30 people, and they're getting paid. Like this isn't some mom-and-pop business. Like one of our friends is the vice president of some other department inside this building. It's only 35 people in there. He makes $185,000 a year.
Yep.
Our other friend who moved here, entry level, $85,000 a year. Entry level, dude's 34, just switched his careers. He was a truck driver. Got in a bad accident, scared of trucks now, ready to do something computer and sit down base. It's not as, again, y'all know if the Classy Climb didn't go the way it went, Erica was going to be out here in one of these tech companies doing something. So I was going to be at social events. I was going to be at one of these places doing some kind of phone. Okay, I'm not going to play that game.
Yeah. There are people that get paid to do those events and group activities and stuff. So,
Come on. It's just, I'm not saying it's too easy. I never want to lead y'all down that road, but I'm tired of seeing, I have a lot of friends who, Korean, Asian, Hispanic, I'm stressed out. I'm going to take 6 months off. And their job's like, okay. How many people at 32 job letting them take 6 months off? And they've been making 80 to 130K a year the past 10 years of their life since they left college.
Wow.
And now it's not even college that's the barrier. It's just getting the information and experience.
Skills, yep.
Right now, my nephew, when he comes out here, he's like, oh, I'm going to cut these lawns and stuff. He's going to this little camp over here. He don't even know, but he going to know when he get here. It's about learning. Money isn't, sometimes I think we think, man, I got to sweat and lift heavy burden on my back. I got to be like breaking a sweat every day to make me feel like I'm valued at work. There's a lot of people who work really hard on these laptops and these computers at these offices to make our lives better. The guy who protects your bank and cybersecurity is just as important as the security guard in the front of it.
Yep.
So I just want people to shift their mindset a little bit.
That's exactly how I got into technical writing, because I was an engineer and I realized I could do technical writing and make the same amount of money. What? Listen, that's easier for me to do. It's, something that I enjoy doing. I was doing it anyway. So I was like, oh, it's a wrap. I'm changing careers. So yeah. And to answer this person's question, I've never used LinkedIn Premium. And every day a recruiter reaches out to me with an opportunity. So you could try it out if you want to, but it's not required. So in my course, what I teach people is how to basically update your LinkedIn profile and use it to attract recruiters. So when I shared the 3 tips earlier about, doing your research and telling your story, part of that is publishing your portfolio on LinkedIn. So I've never used a premium feature, so I can't speak to that, but if you want to try it out, feel free to do that.
So I just want to tap into, like, for example, Kimmoy's brand and her doing technical writing. In terms of like the Jumpstart IT Academy, it's about having a foundation, because I'm going to tell you something as far as where technology is going. Technology is going like this, okay? Everything's being automated. So essentially technology professionals are going to be facilitators. So that means that you need to understand a lot about technology. Like, for example, I would take Kimmoy's course just to understand what the technical writers are thinking. What this will do is it'll make you a better professional. So when you're interacting with technology writers, then you can actually relate to them what your wants, needs, and desires are, and you can set out the requirements for them to, essentially write out whatever it is that you're working on. But having an understanding what technical writers do, I recommend taking the foundational courses. Like, for example, this is where Jumpstart IT Academy is going. So at the foundation is understanding how the industry works. And I just wrote 12 curriculums to go over the CompTIA, which is network plus cybersecurity, security, Linux, operating system, so server plus. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that as an overlay. So now you understand how the industry works. Now here's an overlay, and I recommend you add technical writing to that, because that foundation is going to make you so valuable in 5 to 10 years. Because when you're in a meeting and you're dealing with Kimmoy, you'll be able to speak to her in her language. That means that your productivity is going to go up. You're going to be a leader because you're going to be able to interface with her with ease. When you understand what network engineers do, network administrators do, server engineers, all this stuff works together. So because all this stuff works together, guess what? If you understand how it works together and you know the roles and the function of who's in that particular role, that's going to make you more valuable. So in the future, when things get automated, you're going to need to be a professional. What does that mean? That means that you're going to need to be able to be a decision maker. You need to be able to take lead. You're going to need to be able to communicate. You're going to be able to need to interface with someone like Kimmoy when she has a disagreement with whatever it is that you want. You need to be able to reason with her because she's a senior professional and she's going to put her foot down. So you're not going to get everything that you want. But the least that you can do is argue for your points and come to a central, a compromise for each parties. And so you'll be able to be that professional of the future. And that's where IT is going. And that's what you need to prepare yourself for.
Yeah. And I just want to clarify for everyone that a technical writer writes instructions, specifications for every single piece of technology that you know.
Yep.
So, and you don't have to be an expert in that technology, in that software, in that app. You just have to know how to understand it and be able to explain it in layman's terms. So when Chris is working on a server and he needs to figure out what exactly to do or explain it to someone else, those instructions need to be written down somewhere. And a technical writer is a person who would write that up. Or when you're using your apps on your website, if you're logging into your bank account, if you're trying to figure out how to use Facebook, if you're trying to figure out how to use the app on your phone, all the text that you see, every single piece of word that you see here on this YouTube channel, a technical writer, a UX writer decided to name that thumbs up like, that someone decided to put comments in the top left versus the top right. Someone decided to say help or support, all those different words that you see with technology. That's what a technical writer does. So I work with developers, but I also have worked in very non-technical type of roles. Like right now, my client is a credit union and they needed help with using a financial software. So I'm not an expert in commercial loans or anything like that, but they needed instructions to teach their loan officers how to use this software. So I go in, I log in, I figure it out, and I write instructions, take some screenshots, and they are the happiest customer ever. So so any industry you can think of, you can do technical writing. I just wanted to clarify that.
So the part I'm always want you guys to understand is if someone tells you, oh man, I can't find the 6-figure jobs and they're not on LinkedIn, I'm like, stop. 70. We just had Alvin come give us a bunch of tips yesterday. 41% of people on LinkedIn are 41% of millionaires are on LinkedIn. The average income of a person is $101,000. So the average person, like that's the averaged out of all the incomes on LinkedIn. It's $100,000 a year. So when someone says, hey, I want to make 6 figures, it's so hard to make 6 figures, Erica. I'm like, don't you want to go where the 6-figure people go? Is this not where we want to be? I think that's really important for you to understand that you have to learn how to use that platform. And what Kimmoy said about telling a story, Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Shark Tank, Mr. calls people horrible names. He was even saying, tell a story, but don't make it longer than a paragraph because no one's reading that. He's like, I'll read 3 sentences and I'm a busy man. Give me some, why I want to work with you. So again, someone said, I took your course and recruiters are emailing me for positions.
Congrats. That's the hard part.
Yeah. Skilled professionals don't have to put up with that junk. Chris, you nailed it.
Exactly.
Someone said data science, machine learning, deep learning, NPL are now everywhere and companies are seeking these jobs.
Yeah, data science especially is popping. Have you seen a lot of increase in my world, I haven't come across a lot of machine learning opportunities, but that could just be me, but definitely I see a lot of data science jobs.
I say that artificial intelligence becomes more pervasive, you're going to see a lot of machine learning.
Everybody's asking for the link. Anybody in the chat, the links are in the description. So any of the moderators, anybody who's a moderator, you can pull their class links from the description and put it in the chat. That'd be great. The StreamYard limits me from typing so much. So where's the link to Chris's class? One of the moderators put it in there. If not, it's in the description after the class. Y'all like, where the links? Where the links? I'm like, okay, go now. Pro Style said, Chris, can you give an example of someone who took your course and transitioned into IT? Because I know you have several students.
Yeah, I have several students. What I'll do is I'll just explain to you. I've been launching people in IT for over 20 years. The first person I launched was in the 90s. Her name was Sandra. I pretty much taught her servers. I taught her basically networking equipment. I taught her how to troubleshoot. I taught her how to write instructions for step-by-step troubleshooting to do repairs. So I've been launching people in IT for almost 20 years. Matter of fact, my mentor, who ran my department in the military, over like 20 years ago, I just signed him up to the Jumpstart IT Academy. So and he stepped away from IT, but he wants to go back into it. So there's several people. I got a guy right now who went through my college program for how to fast track through college. He was already experienced in the IT. So what I'm doing is I'm leveling him up. So I did a curriculum for him so that he could go back to college, get his college degree in the shortest period of time for the lowest amount of money. That's fast track through college. So that he could take his experience, add that college degree on there, and then he can propel himself to higher levels. I say, for you personally, learn where you're going. So once you know your purpose and where you're going, then extrapolate, go backwards. Okay. So my natural gift is vision. So what I tell people is, in terms of technology, don't just take a broad approach, take a general approach in terms of understanding the foundational basis of technology, then take your gifts and then start looking at the specific skills and specialties that fit you, and then make a goal to work towards that. And then you won't be like Erica was saying, how do I make 6 figures? Well, you make 6 figures when you understand how the industry works and you know your gifts, and then you specialize and you hone in on that no matter what anybody says. And then all of a sudden you're not this just buffet. You are Burger King. You serve burgers. You're Pizza Hut. You serve pizza. People know you for something because that's just all you focus on. All I focused on was servers. And then I focused on network engineering. That's it right there. Servers and engineering. If you want servers and engineering, you come to me. And that's the way you need to be. That's how you're able to demand. And that's why you can sit and not tolerate anything. Because if I've been looking at servers for 10 years and this guy has been looking at servers for 1, say something to me wrong and see, don't I walk down the street?
Idris Elba said, I have no IT experience or knowledge, and I bought this course last month and it was well worth it. Thank you, Idris Elba.
Oh man, so I think you guys were talking about who took the course and was able to get in. So I have an example. Most recent example was Adrian. She was in a nonprofit agency and she was doing social media side hustling. And she wanted to become a technical writer for Salesforce specifically. So she had a vision already in mind. So she took my course and she literally followed every single step. And it took her 5 months and she was able to get a technical writing role with Salesforce. So definitely if you put in the work, you can, get into this career. And the thing is, she had interviewed with Salesforce before taking my course, and they never hired her. So she was discouraged, but after I spoke to her, I was like, you know what, we're just gonna work on your portfolio, have a better story to tell, update that resume, update that LinkedIn, and she implemented the strategies and was able to get the job that she wanted. So, she didn't have to do any extra certifications or go to school for an extra 4 years or anything like that. It was just learning how to leverage your existing skills and telling that story.
I like it. Go ahead.
I agree with you, Kimmoy. In terms of leveraging your existing skills, I coach a lot of people who are already experienced in IT, and essentially what they don't know is, how do I take what I've already done and add value to go into the future? So people have this expectation that, so I had a young lady that I coached, and she had a finance degree, a degree in statistics, and I was like, you would be awesome. And she had a degree, I think, in the medical field, but I was like, you'd be awesome, like as a SAS engineer, And in that situation, she's, you're valuable already, so nobody's going to lowball you. They want to keep you because you're bringing value. So they're just going to take you at the value where you're at. So don't think that if you have a background that it can't benefit you going forward. You don't lose that. That's not lost. That's a professional career. Does that make sense? Like nobody's going to lowball you or try to discount you, because value is value. If you're going to add value more than somebody that just got out of college and you've been in like financing, please, they're going to take you and pay you more, because guess what? You're more valuable. In IT, it's about value. I don't care what race you are. I don't care how tough you are. I don't care what your family was, your family background. Your daddy could have been a billionaire. Guess what? You got to learn. If my skills are better than yours, you're not going to get promoted. Because in technology, it's about what you do. It's about the results. Now, in terms of management, hey, that's a whole different ballgame. You can have nepotism there. But if your server goes down and you're trying to get the guy whose dad makes millions of dollars a year, hey, go hire him. But he's going to blow up your whole server, right? But you can go to me, and I have 20 plus years of experience. You're good.
Right.
So nobody's going to risk that.
Whole server. I was like, you out here doing the most.
You shut the whole company down.
Yeah, I've seen it. Kimmoy, I've seen it.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Brandon Skills, for the $10 super chat. Sounds like a lot what I do at the patent office. Do you provide recommendations after taking your course, Kimmoy?
Recommendations for?
Are you asking for a recommendation so that you can get jobs, or recommendations for where you can find jobs? Clarify your answer. And in the chat, I have their links for their courses. Several people have been posting them. Y'all not going to 27 question me about where these links at. Okay, here we go. Links everywhere. So in the course, there are sites that I recommend that if you want to go searching for jobs, where to post your profiles. But if you're looking for like professional recommendations, I always recommend reaching out to anyone you worked with on a project. So there's a feature on LinkedIn where you can list the projects you've worked on. So if your coworker or peer or your manager or whomever also worked on the same project, you could tag them in it. And then you could also ask for a recommendation on LinkedIn. But if you're asking about something else, clarify it and let me know.
I do have a question for you, Kimmoy, just to get specific in terms of that question. For example, you're essentially mentoring someone to level them up to a certain skill set. Would you co-sign for that person? Like if they said, hey, can you write this letter so I can go to an interview? Is that something?
If you complete the course.
That makes sense.
If you complete the course and your resume looks good, right? If your resume looks good, your LinkedIn looks good, and your portfolio looks good, then yes, I will put a recommendation on LinkedIn for you. But that's part of the course. Those 3 things, you have to complete those. Yeah. All right, you guys, don't be out here being worse. I mean, y'all ain't did the course, man. Y'all better be doing it. Better have some profiles together. Better look nice. And also, if you're on my email list, I tend to email out any job opportunities that show up in my inbox. So every now and again, I will send it out to the list in case anyone is interested. So
So DJ Crime, I don't know why he's got DJ Crime, but okay. He said, been in medical IT since 2004. Everyone in this stream is giving some serious gems. Take notes. Thank you. Okay.
People that take notes are millionaires.
Okay. Hey, Renee said, I have an ITIL cert. I don't know what that is. I was told by other IT professionals it was a waste, but I don't see it that way. I think it goes well with my communications degree. What do you guys think?
Well, what do you want to do? It's not what other people think, it's what do you want to do?
If you get hired, who cares what they think?
Right, yeah.
See, y'all can't be living by, hold on, I'm gonna have a little rant. Y'all cannot go by your cousin Willie who drives pickup trucks down the street to deliver firewood, what he thinks of your degree. Joe paying you.
Hey,
and no, it doesn't matter. And I think, unfortunately, we want to have a lot of approval from family and friends and people in the field. The worst thing you can do is be uncertain in something and then go around and ask everybody, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Mm-hmm. We don't practice our skills on them. We practice our certification, our skills on recruiters. Renee,
exactly.
If recruiters are calling you and you can answer the phone call confidently, if you can do the job confidently, that's what matters. A lot of people try to tell somebody, well, you wasted time doing this and that. You cannot tell somebody what's a waste to their career. There may be something you learn from Cliff's class or Kimmoy's class, and all of a sudden it comes in 2 years later. It comes in 6 months later. Mm-hmm. I don't take advice well from people who aren't doing or who aren't in the direct chain of what I'm trying to do. The only time I would even listen to somebody if they said it was a waste was if you went to a job and they said, man, hey, Renee, that right there, that's a waste. Other than that, if you're not cutting your paycheck, who cares what they think? And I really mean that, like 100%. We have a tendency, not just our community, but when we're young or we're coming out of college or we want to switch careers, we ask friends and family or people we think know something. No, thank you. Don't do it. Only people you should be getting feedback from at this point is recruiters and job offers. Okay,
can I tap into that?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so when I first started, I told this lady, I was in the military, I said, hey, I'm going to be a network engineer. This lady laughed so hard. I'm like, wow, I felt small. But guess what? I was so fixated on my purpose and I had so much passion for what I was doing. I kept going forward. If I had have taken the moment to even absorb the humor she got from my comment, I would not be where I'm at. I was so focused and I knew I was enthusiastic about what I was doing. I didn't care what anybody thought. I just had the end in mind. So when you have a purpose, that's a destination. That means that I don't care. The plans change. Plans are directions. So your plans might change. I didn't get to my destination as quick as I thought I would, but I got there and I didn't care what was going on around me because I was so fixated on my purpose. If you're on your way to whatever, a restaurant, and that's where you focus on, and then they got some construction over here, man, you're going to take a different route, but you still focus on getting there. I don't care if somebody yells at you or spits on your car. You just like, hey, I'm going to this restaurant. So you're just going to deal with those setbacks and deal with those, nuances and things that happen along the way. But you need to know where you're going. And that's what I focus on the Jumpstart IT Academy. Know where you're going, know who you are and where you're going. And what anybody else says to you won't even matter. It's just going to be like, whatever. I already know I'm going.
Amen.
I mean, Kimmoy, I know you ain't living on the island every day, but if you were sitting there telling everybody on the island you're going to do tech right, and they'd be like, what? Down there and get them.
Yeah.
Down there and go get that tourism job. Again, and I don't mean to rant, but even KD King said, I also have an ITIL certification, and it's aided me in becoming a tech lead. I don't mean to rant, but I go, you have to measure feedback from the appropriate places.
Yep.
If I want 100K from the bank, and I go tell all my friends what they think about me getting this 100K, they all may be like, oh no. Are they able to stroke me a check for 100K? No. Then their opinion is not valid. Mm-hmm. Now you may say, Erica, I'm trying to get into the IT community, so I'm asking around, but even then, no, are they hiring you? Can they suggest that you get a job at their company? Then they have no input. I mean, I'm very stern on that because I've told people, hey, I'm going to be a millionaire this year. I'm going to do this and that. Even the accounting company I have, one lady in there's like, oh, honey, please. The guy in the back of the office is like, yes, I knew you were going to do it. I knew you were going to do this and buy this building. You have to not seek validation from people who cannot empower you to do anything.
Yep.
If they cannot write you a check, they cannot, what can they do there? Sorry, I have to get that off my chest, because half the phone calls I deal with every week is like, well, I told my family, and I'm like, what that got to do what you want to do? Not a thing.
Right.
Answer the question on screen.
Are there tech jobs you can work in the evening that are flexible in terms of time? I know there are some developers that work the night shift because if a product or a website needs to be updated, they typically do it at night. But I don't know if they specify in the job description that it's a night time role. It's typically like the developer that works 9 to 5, and sometimes when they have a big launch, they're required to come in at night or work at night to make sure everything, all the updates run smoothly. But maybe Chris, you might have more insight on evening.
I'm gonna tag along and make a comment about the last question. So at Jumpstart IT Academy, I do offer coaching, and these types of questions where you need to bounce an idea or the direction that you want to go in, bounce it off for somebody that has experience in the IT industry. It's worth it. Like I tell people, would you pay $100 an hour to make? Would you pay me $100 so that I would teach you how to make $100,000? And people, you got to invest in yourself. Like you sit with me for an hour, you $100, and then all of a sudden, within 2 years, you're making 6 figures. It's like, was it really worth it? Yeah, it was worth it. So just keep that in mind. Coaching and mentoring is available. I saw a need for it. I offer the service. So if you need it, go ahead and give me a call. Now, as far as tech jobs and do you work from the evening, this goes back into purpose. What is your destination and what do you plan on doing? Because if you're in a particular career field where you can have a flexible schedule, then guess what? That's your criteria. And if it's your criteria, then you bring your criteria to your client and you tell them, here's my criteria. This is the times that I want to work. Or you build up your skill sets. Let's say you work for 2 to 5 years in a particular job. Now you're experienced in that field. So what can you do? You can do 1099, which is basically you doing, a self-proprietor contracts, and you're representing yourself. I did that. So I do that now. Yeah, I would work for 6 months and take 6 months off. That's just the way I like to work. I couldn't do the whole year. It was just, but I'm being honest with you. Kimmoy knows what I'm talking about.
That's exactly how I do it. I'm self-employed and I take 2 months off the year and then go back and get another contract. Yeah.
I get burnt out. I get tired. I'm like, I'm done. I had a client call me and say, hey, we want to redo your contract. Hey, I ain't going to be there with that contract. I'm taking 6 months off. And I took 6 months off just to relax. And I was working on my degree at the time. So I was just chilling at the apartment.
I like this comment. They always got an opinion. It's true. It's true. Stay focused.
Listen, y'all gotta stay focused. I mean, I can tell you right now, the committee of they is always, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, you can tell your family something like, you need to do this. 3 years later, hey, Erica, I knew you always do it. I got one family right now. I'm gonna do this little story real quick. I'm gonna get back on show. They were forever like, you need to go in the Air Force and you need to do this. You need to go in the Air Force and do this. And I'm like, nah. And then now I go into town and they go, man, your aunt and your cousin told me you doing big things. And I'm like, it's the last person you expect is gonna run around to everybody, she doing big things. Look, she doing big things. But again, people cannot, a committee of they can only, again, I want you guys to understand this. If your parents love you, what do they want for you? Safety, security, normal, fit in with everybody else. So if all your parents do this one thing and then you come and tell them, oh my God, I watched Erica's live yesterday and they said you can make 6 figures. Your Uncle Joe is gonna sit on the porch and be like, no, that's a lie.
Nobody can do that. It takes 6 months off. No, nobody can do that.
Nobody can do that. No, everybody work all day, all sweating. You know what I mean? And it's not even, trying to make country jokes, but just regular people. I've literally had people come back and go, I didn't realize, I thought you made $1 million off the trucks and other stuff, not YouTube. I'm like, YouTube. Just because somebody can't understand the concept doesn't mean they're the one person needs to speak into your life and 2, you share everything with. So again, somebody said the client don't care if you fix it write it at 3 a.m. as long as it looks good.
That is true. That is true.
And Ron said, don't some people work at night?
Yes. I was a network administrator and I worked for SBC or AT&T. I worked in a data center at nighttime. I did swing shift. I did all shifts, but essentially there's so much opportunity and so many schedules that you can schedule for, because these servers don't go to sleep. You know, the routers don't go to sleep. You can sing them a lullaby, but they still got to work. And if they went to sleep, they would be calling me to fix it. So it's all good. I make money either way.
Even LCRA, if you guys are looking up anything in Austin, LCRA is like the energy company conglomerate of Austin. They have mandatory where they'll have routines where the guys have to come in at night. So, yeah, I mean, and my friend was like, he had a temp worker come in with him that night. And he's like, he better work hard. I said, well, how much is he getting paid an hour? $55 an hour, y'all. And that was full-time staff. They were like, that temp worker better come in on time. He's going to get this job. And they were being a little smart pants about it. I'm like, 55 an hour. Yeah, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up at 2 a.m. Sure. I'm here. Like, come on now. Oh, no worries. Hey, listen. Hey, Renee, that was just a soundbite clip on me. Listen, hey Renee, you get what I'm trying to say. Yes, LCRA Austin Tech jobs.
Can I tap into what Renee just said?
Oh, you sure can. Yes.
So Renee, understand this. Like, tech people, they sit on their engineering mountain and look down yonder at everybody else. When people mocked me when I was learning public speaking and I was going to all these different meetings, and man, once I got done and I knew how to public speak, the game was on. See, they don't understand your skill set. They don't understand where you're going, what your purpose is. So they're going to take pot shots and tell you what they think is right because they earn in $150,000 and they don't know that you're striving for $250,000, $300,000 and you need to know this, right? So skip what all these people say. I don't care if they're qualified. I don't care if Oprah told me I couldn't be a network engineer. Guess what? I'm going for it. So I don't care who it is. I don't care how highly qualified they're supposed to be. They're highly qualified to get to where they were going. You're not highly qualified to talk into where I'm going because you don't know where I'm going. You don't know my vision that I have for my career.
So real. I mean, and that's with anything though. You can ask somebody in YouTube what I do this different. I only asking again. I repeat it and I mean it. Is that friend hiring you for the next job?
Right.
Are they giving you a promotion?
Exactly. Yep. I'm with Erica on that one. I'm like, if they're not running your check or offering you a job, then
I wish somebody would say something was a waste. I'd be like, man, if you don't go to the coffee machine away from me, that's all I'm gonna say on that. When he worked at Verizon, the Cisco techs had so much clout they didn't work past 8 p.m. in a 24/7 environment. Yep. I believe that.
You need me. That's the attitude that engineers have. You need me. I'm good. Like, I'm good. If that router goes down, guess what? You over there sipping coffee and going to meetings and saying all this high lofty stuff to these business people. Well, you have to come down over here. You don't want to talk. You don't want to talk smart because guess what? I'll leave. You need me. You need what I have.
and that's why people are like, oh, college. I'm not talking about college. I mean certifications and so on. You can do a job.
Yep.
Load yourself up. So Toastmasters, that's a good place to start.
Toastmasters, that's what I'm talking about. I went to Toastmaster meeting. Man, all those engineers, they're making $100,000, $200,000 a year, laughing at me all day. And guess what? I'm on Erica's platform doing what? Public speaking. Did it work out for me? I think it did.
Well, here's the funny part. If everybody, and I'm not knocking engineers or IT people, if everybody knows notoriously IT people have a hard time with communication.
I wrote the book.
And being an introvert and not communicating well to people, wouldn't it just put you the king, in a sea of blind, the one-eyed man is king? Mm-hmm. We're just trying to get it up there.
So can I get a quick plug, Erica?
You do it, yeah. Plug it up, plug away.
All right, so I wrote a book called Communicate, Not Communicate, 8 Keys for Leaders and Professionals to Communicate Effectively. It's on Amazon. You can check it out. Go to Jumpstart IT Academy YouTube channel and you'll see it's right. The link is right in there for the book. And the reason I wrote that book is because, man, you would have the smartest people in the world, and they get into meetings and they're offending everyone. So it's like, I mean, I got guys that got PhDs and certifications all the way up there, and I just be sitting there like, you know, the business people are looking at me like, control your guard dog. You know, they're foaming at the mouth wanting to get what they want in the meeting. Like, give me this. I want these dates and this scope of work. Why did it change? And I'm just sitting there like, well, you know, cajoling them and just kind of reasoning with the internal client instead of just barking down their throat like, hey, no, this has got to be that way. People, you got to be well-rounded. That's why I say leadership. You got to be a leader, because having the skills at the top level, and you know this, Kimmoy, you can be the sharpest guy, but if you're offending everybody, nobody wants to work with you.
That's true. Yeah, get the
Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Erica.
I like the cover. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, communication is definitely important for sure.
Well, listen, I'll tell you, my friend who, she's a very, very introvert, highest paid woman at Samsung at one point before she moved back to Oklahoma. Had a baby. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, so she was in a meeting, super introvert, does not like to be like, hey, you stand up, say your name, do all this other stuff. So she's in a meeting and the guy points at her in a crowd of 25 people, makes her stand up, because Samsung is a Korean company. So they have a different kind of culture environment. Made her stand up, say all this stuff, like do her report. She cried at the end of it. Like,
oh no,
she's like such a nervous person. She's like sweating and crying. So if someone tells you some kind of certificate isn't important when you're in a room with people who really struggle to communicate, like, and she's a smart girl, like one of the smartest at Oklahoma Boomer Sooners, like, you know, graduate top of her class. But if you don't know how to talk to people, honey, that'll hurt you.
The game's
you
over.
Know how to communicate.
Yeah.
You start panicking when they call you on in a room. That's not how you communicate. So
yeah, especially in my role as a technical writer, because you have to be able to get information from people that have the knowledge, have the experience. So developers, they know the product inside and out because they created it. But to be able to explain that to an everyday user, it's a completely different language. So you have to know how to pull that information from them and make sense of it. Or, you know, right now I'm working with like directors of credit unions and VPs. So they have a whole different set of experience and background, and it's just knowing how to communicate with them without making them feel, you know, incompetent or anything like that. It's definitely, it's definitely an art for sure.
Absolutely.
Put it in the chat. Look at it. Work with me here. Y'all be wanting me.
It's an ebook. It's also on Audible. So check it out on Audible if you don't like reading ebooks.
Who reads it? Are you reading it? Are you reading the Audible?
No, I said if people don't want to read the ebook, they can get it on Audible. Are
you the Audible voice?
Oh, I'm the narrator. Yeah, I narrated that.
Oh, that's dope.
It's got some good ratings on Audible. It's got some pretty good ratings on Audible. It's up there with John.
Go ahead.
No, I say it's up there with some of the top books that are out there.
Okay, I put it inside the chat. Also, Lizzie Hatch, go back and watch yesterday's video on cybersecurity. Also, you can reach out to her on cybersecurity, Lizzie Hatch. That was yesterday's video. Now, I'm not going to take up all your day. We've been here an hour and 13 minutes. I know y'all got fabulous lives. I know you got a margarita and tacos with your name on it, Kimmoy, while you're in Mexico. Chris is an international spy in Japan. So what are some things you want to leave the audience with as we wrap up?
So essentially, in addition to the technical skills, I want to say just focus on the skills of not selling your soul, but selling yourself, right? Telling the story about what it is you can do, learning how to research opportunities, getting Chris's course to get an idea of what is available to you. Start using the platforms that are available, LinkedIn. Learn how to update your resume, how to have a portfolio, you know, how to maximize LinkedIn to its capacity to get the job that you want. There's a bajillion jobs out there. People are still hiring. Companies are still hiring. So if you're looking for a structured way to get the job that you want and you love writing, then I would encourage you to check out my course on technical writing, how to get paid to write instructions. No day is the same, no client is the same, no industry is the same, and it has a lot of flexibility that you can take with you, not only in technical writing, but in other jobs. So yeah, just know that there are opportunities out there and just be strategic about going after them.
Thank you, Kimmoy. So in terms of, I want people to understand where Jumpstart IT Academy is going. We are growing and we have a vision. So essentially, I want you to picture a pyramid. And on the bottom is the foundation, which is understanding how the IT industry works, non-technical, technical, understanding your gift, understand where you fit in so you can get in where you fit in. In other words, the technology field is a bus, and essentially you need to know what seat to sit in. And that's the foundation. That's the bottom of the pyramid. And then the second level is going to be, like I said, the CompTIA-based courses, which give you a base level understanding of cybersecurity, of A+, of Server+, of Linux, of servers, all these different fields that you can go into, and also project management. And then the next level, what I'm doing with Jumpstart IT Academy is the goal is to create a technology incubator. I have another platform that I just built. I have an MBA. So I built a platform that's basically teaching business and entrepreneurship skills, and it's going to funnel into each other. The people who take the business skills will be able to blend business and technology so you can think like I think, which is innovatively. I can create products and services just off the fly just by looking at technology. I can tell you what the future is going to be like. I can review technology and instantly tell you how 5G can connect with automation. I can tell you all these different things just being exposed to it. And so what I want to do is teach the people in Jumpstart IT Academy all these skills so that when they specialize, they can take their specialization and understanding of the IT industry. And they can, if they're entrepreneurial, they can come up with products and services. And then we put it into this incubator. And then essentially we have an incubator where we're producing products. And that's the main goal. So my platform is not just for launching people, it's for people who mature and grow up in the IT industry and become leaders. And in that leadership, they take the entrepreneurial approach like a Steve Jobs. So essentially what Jumpstart IT Academy is going to be producing is Steve Jobs. In the future, you're going to see multimillionaires come out of Jumpstart IT Academy because I'm teaching people to think like I think, which is innovators. You're going to see innovators. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see people shaping and creating your future. You're going to see people who are going to shape and people who are going to be so innovative that they're going to be determining how you experience time and change, just like Steve Jobs. So that's what's going on with Jumpstart IT Academy.
All right.
Oh, thank you, Gerald.
Kimmoy, like tell us what we're going to get in tech writing. I thought Kimmoy was going to be like, I'm going to show you how to sip margaritas from the beach and do tech writing. I was do that, and I'm like,
listen, that's exactly it. So in the course, the first module is all about learning the foundation of technical writing, how to write instructions, how to get to know your user better. And then there are a few exercises on how to create portfolio content. So I have some fun exercises in there on how to write for features that are in like Google Maps or Zip. So just different apps. I also have the tests that companies have required technical writers to take. So I have a test from Facebook, Google, Airbnb, and the Navy Federal Credit Union. So if you want to know what they're looking for and what kind of tests they offer for aspiring technical writers, all of that is in there. I also have a module on how to, what I mentioned earlier, with mapping your current skills to a technical writer skills and how to do that in your resume. There's a module on that. There's also a module on LinkedIn, and there's also a module on connecting with your team and also reaching out to recruiters. So that's what you get in the course.
I love it. I love it. Listen, y'all, when people ask me, Chris done sold like 27 books in the comments. So when people ask me, how long is the sale going to be? When I bring guests onto the show, I'm not saying I arm twist them, but I gently encourage them to give you guys sales. So don't ask for how long it's going to be, because it might not be for long. I always encourage the guests to be nice to the classy climbers. So my strong suggestion to you is, if you know where you want to go in a year or two, you're going to have to start focusing on, I'm going to have to put some money aside for one of those things. Also, people were like, Chris, that's one hell of a pitch.
Right?
Y'all are cracking me up in here. But listen, I say this only, and the reason I'm so passionate about tech, because people are like, man, Erica, this channel talks about a lot. It's because I live, eat, go sleep, party with people who are in tech, and their lives right now are completely unaffected. Like they're like, hey, we going boating this weekend for Memorial Day weekend. We gonna get the biggest boat we can get. And I'm like most people can't say that. And I don't know how long that door is wide open for training and entry level tech, where they're trying their hardest to get people in the door, but they are. These companies are trying really hard to get you in the door. And I mean, I think it's a kind of an American thing. If it's not easy, you don't want it. But I also think it's a thing of like, this is your opportunity to prove your spot. You want to get a spot, come get a spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
And
yeah. I agree. You either want to or you don't. Like there's no need to be wavering, because you could find something.
Mm-hmm.
With the myriad of opportunities that are available, you could find something. So it's either you want to put in the work to get the job that you want or not. Like there's no in between. You can get in where you fit in somewhere.
Yeah. And there's just a lot of opportunity for growth. So look, I'm going to let them go. It's been almost an hour and 30 minutes. I got them held hostage. They got to go do their life. Me too. So look, you guys, this is your girl, Erica, off the Classy Climb blog, author of The Smartphone Millionaire and the Classy Climb Planner. If you have not known who this is Kimmoy, international travel woman of tech writing. And this is Mr. Chris, Eye of Mystery. You go check out their links below in the description, and we will have more for the rest of Tech Week. The rest of Tech Week, we may have a sales, may have some other stuff. I will let it be a surprise. So hopefully you guys can come back when I have a big panel of you guys all together, and we'll throw some like news at you or something, or like, what do you think about work or whatever. So
that'd be great.
Okay, cool.
All right, you guys. Later.
Bye.